Friday's conference opener could not have gone any better for North Dakota hockey. 7 different goal scorers helped UND blow out Minnesota Duluth 7-3. Saturday night, Nodak got its third crack at its first sweep of the season. North Dakota got off to another great start thanks to the fourth line. And after scoring his first career goal Friday, Cade Littler finds Twine again. It's a 1-0 lead already for UND. They did not take long to score another one. About 2 minutes later, Max Watson sets up Dane Montgomery. He is denied, but Ben Strinden is there to put home the rebound. His second of the weekend as well makes it 2-0. And from a Fargo native to a West Fargo native, later in the period on the power play, Cameron Berg sends a rocket to the back of the net. It's 3-0 North Dakota after 1. They get the offense early. TJ Septemfelter takes it from there. He made 26 saves on 27 shots, including this incredible robbery. Watch this on the doorstep with the glove hand. Somebody call Sports Center. North Dakota gets its first sweep of the season and its 6th consecutive win over Minnesota Duluth. As you see the save one more time, 4-1 is the final. The sweep is secured along with much needed momentum going into a humongous series next weekend, a double dose of Denver. North Dakota will host the top-ranked team of the country and the defending national champion Pios, a team UND took 3 of 4 from last season. The series begins Friday night at 7:07 on the dot. UND football trying to get back in the win column, seeking the upset against South Dakota State. This will help. Isaiah Smith opens the scoring with a 62-yard dash to the crib. 7-0 Fighting Hawks. But that was all UND could celebrate in this one. It is 7-3 at the start of the second when the Jackrabbits hop to the house with Angel Johnson. This 29-yard rushing TD has South Dakota State up 10-7. Next possession, SDSU finding Pater again. This time, Mark Gronowski hitting Griffin Wilde for the 25-yard pass and catch score. 17-7 Jackrabbits. South Dakota State runs away with this one, handing North Dakota its 3rd straight defeat and first loss of the season at home. 38-7 is the final. If it wasn't must win the rest of the way for North Dakota before, it is now for them to even have a chance of making the playoffs. But next week, the Fighting Hawks battle another top 5 opponent from down south, the South Dakota Coyotes, on Senior Day at 12 o'clock. Note that start time. Plenty more to come in the Red Zone tonight, including Bemidji State and MSUM facing off for the Battle Axe in Moorhead.